This video will show you how to pour up your impression after you have taken it. Today we're going to be using white plaster, and the first step after you've disinfected your impression is you want to examine it to see if there's anything that you need to remove, if there's any excess material, and oh look, there is. So the first thing we'll do is remove the excess material off the back of the tray, because this will get in the way when you're pouring it up if you don't remove it. And then you also want to take your air and dry out the tea so that there's no water droplets, because they can cause air bubbles. See like that? That's a tori. I took that as myself. That's a tori right there. So, and you know, this is really an excellent impression, but there is one mistake, and I was taking it of myself. So I just want you to look at this and see if you can see what the mistake is. It's off center. See, here's the teeth, and there's the handle. It should line up with the handle. I mean, it's off just a little bit, but I was taking it of myself, so be it. Okay, so now that's ready to go, and we're going to use the white plaster like I said. Your book says that your formula for that is 50 milliliters of water to about 100 grams of plaster, which we don't have a scale, but anyway, about 100 grams of powder is approximately a half of a cup. So that's what we'll go by. The water measure, here's what I used to get the 50 milliliters. This is a 25 milliliter measure. So 2 of these is equal to the alginate measure, right? It comes right up just below where it says powder. So that's a good rule of thumb. So you pour your water in the bowl, because this mixture is powder to water. Okay, now you take your bowl and you're going to squeeze the bowl and start incorporating the powder into the water. And you just keep squeezing and adding, and it's going to take a while to get a little thick before you actually have to start putting it on the vibrator to get the air bubbles out. So you just keep mixing. Every once in a while you might have to break up, oops, the pebbles, if there's any pebbles forming. Just keep adding the powder. You can see it's starting to thicken a little bit. Going to add a little more powder. I think I didn't have quite a half cup in there. We're almost there. Okay, so now you start stirring. It's still a little thin. I'll add a little more powder. Okay, now we have a good consistency. So we are going to now turn on our vibrator on low, and you just squeeze the bowl down, and you can kind of see probably the air bubbles that are coming out. And now you don't want to do this too long, maybe about 15 to 20 seconds, because if you over vibrate it, you'll actually add more air bubbles into the mix. So, first step is you want to set your tray down on the vibrator, and you start in a corner and you let the material run, and you always add your increments from the corner and let the material flow to the other side. Okay, now see how this is all filled up, all the anatomy part is filled, and now you simply add material to the top. Just to cover the top, because we're going to put this in a base in a minute. So just make sure that you have it covered. This is a messy job, but it's okay. And now you just set that aside, and we'll pour up a base. Now you can see here that I have leftover material. Typically you'll be pouring up two, a lower and an upper. So we have plenty to do the lower, but we won't be doing that in this video. But so you know for future that this is enough of a mixture to pour up two impressions.